I'm going to show you everything you need to scale a clothing brand to 10K a month in 2026. My name is Fred Sanders and I own the marketing agency Sanders Consulting that helps clothing brands scale all the way up from 10, 20, 30, all the way up to our biggest clients that are doing 2 to 3 million a month. But don't just take my word for it. Let me show you some results from some of our clients. Here's one of our biggest clients that we're working with that did a little over $4 million this month, but the last 365 days, it did a little bit over $30 million. Let me show you another brand that did 15K just this month, and I can keep going on and on. And the same systems and secrets that got them that success, I'm gonna be giving you in this video for completely free without gatekeeping anything. If you wanna work with me one-on-one though, you do always have the option to go apply for that link down in the description to be another one of our one-on-one brands that we help scale out to 10, 20, 30, 40K months. But let's jump into it. So you're a clothing brand, maybe you have a website, maybe you don't, maybe you're getting sales, maybe you're not getting any sales and you've tried marketing. When I look at why and how to scale out to 10K a month, I don't think about things that you need to do. I actually think about things that we need to get away from. In other words, I think about the problems and reasons why you're not at 10K a month and not the 3 reasons that you need to do to be at 10K a month. If we can just solve all the reasons you're not at 10K a month, then it naturally will fall into your hands. So let's start off with the 3 main reasons. There's only 3 reasons in any scenario that you would not be hitting months like 10K a month, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. And the first absolute thing is marketing. All right. Now, a lot of you guys, you already know this is your problem. Maybe you're just not getting enough customers. You know, you have an amazing product. Your website's solid. You spent a lot of time on it. But for some reason, you're just A, not getting enough clicks on your website, or B, you're getting a lot of clicks, but no one seems to be converting and you can't get your marketing to be consistent and actually work. We're going to break that down in this video. So the first step, like I said, is marketing. So we need to talk about how to actually run and set up ads. And I'm going to go down and break through my strategy that we use for our clothing brands to actually help and scale and set up. Here's the full breakdown. Let's actually go into an ad account and set these up live for you guys. So I'm going to jump inside of a test ad account. And yes, again, I'm showing you guys everything. I'm not cutting anything. I'm going to show and give you guys a full free course in exchange for nothing. Just me giving you free value. If you enjoy the video, just leave a like and leave a comment if you have a question in this video and I'll get back with you. So when you hop on your actual ad account, if you don't have an ad account, you can look at my YouTube and I do show you guys how to make a free ad account, how to build out your pixel and how to make sure it's properly connected. Check that out on my YouTube. I'm not gonna cover that in this video. First, you wanna click on create. Now you're gonna be greeted with these 6 different campaign objectives. Now you either go for traffic or sales most cases. In most cases, it's gonna be straight up sales. For this scenario, I'm gonna show you guys how to do a sales campaign. But if you want me to show you guys how to set up some traffic ad campaigns, which are really good at getting a lot of traffic and a lot of visitors and getting and building a lot of brand awareness, go ahead and comment the word traffic down below and I'll show you guys my traffic strategy for ads there. So for the sales campaign objection that we're gonna do, I'm just gonna call this simple Sanders Consulting ad strategy. So go ahead and call it the Sanders Consulting ad strategy. The campaign tends to work a little bit better when you got the word Sanders Consulting in there. I'm just kidding. Make sure you turn off Advantage Catalog. We do not want to keep that on. Now for the campaign budget, you don't have to spend $500. Like this campaign for some reason is already defaulted to. I would recommend starting this campaign out at like 30 bucks all the way up to like $45. Now, if you're really on a budget, you can start this out at 20, but a good medium is just starting it out at $30 if you have enough money. If you're on a really strict budget, I would honestly recommend you not even run ads right now and maybe go into something with a little bit more organic build. But honestly, I wouldn't even recommend going organic marketing. Just save up your money. Make sure you have at least 500 to 1,000 bucks before you start running some ads. It's just kind of like my baseline. For the campaign, we're gonna go with high volume and value. And I'll show a lot of other strategies when you work with me on how to use and leverage these other, campaign bid strategies that are really good. But for this video, we're gonna go with the most popular, that highest volume. All right, then we're gonna go on to next. Now for this one, we can just name this Advantage Plus Broad. Now the really good thing about Facebook is that its newest recent update, they called it the Andromeda update. So the newest Facebook Andromeda update, which we have right here, is basically where it just honestly made the Pixel and Facebook's algorithm so much better. All right. Now, there's a lot of things in here and a lot of cool tips and tricks that you need to make sure your campaigns are optimized towards to actually get and leverage this Andromeda update. But if you do it right, you can be more profitable and have higher ROIs than ever. Things like creative diversification, making sure that you're using and leveraging broad targeting, and just figuring out what kind of ad content to focus on. All things that we're going to be focusing on in this video, the newest updates in 2026. You're not using old, outdated strategies like some that you may have been using early last year or even before that just simply do not work anymore. So we're going to be going over an advantage broad campaign here. Now, for the conversion location, I'm going to make sure that I put this at website like always here, maximize for number of conversions, and then I'm just going to make sure I select my pixel here. And for the conversion event, I'm going to make sure that this is at purchase. Now for ROAS goal, we're going to leave that blank, value rules also blank, standard attribution model. You guys are going to leave this at standard. You're not going to mess with incremental stuff at this level. Attribution level, can leave that the same. Now for this budget and schedule, I always love to set my budgets a day in advance at 12 p.m. exactly. So 12 p.m. just, I notice, is where most of my sales come in. And if I can get my ad campaign to start off with its best foot forward and start performing at the highest time when most people are buying online anyway, then I just tend to get that much better results. Again, it's like not the most proprietary ad strategy that you're looking for. You're looking for the smallest tweaks. So just make one little small incremental change to be a little bit better than your competitors, which eventually add up and just make you be better in the long run there. So for the audience here, we're going to leave this mostly untouched. Now, I just typically target US. If you're targeting more countries like New Zealand or Europe, you can include those countries here as well. But other than that, I'm going to leave this mostly untouched, and I'm not going to be touching, these audiences until we go into a little bit more advanced scaling strategies, which if you want some of those strategies, you can always join our one-on-one program as well. Now for the placements here, we'll go to show more settings here. And this is where we're going to make a few changes. Now, I want to make sure I turn off app sites, search results, and in-stream rules. I haven't seen amazing results with these for clothing brands specifically. You guys have to understand I only run and scale ads for clothing brands. Now, if you're doing anything with supplements or fitness or makeup, a lot of those campaigns and targeting can be good, but for clothing, I haven't seen it convert. I'm also going to turn off threads and messenger. And we want to just make sure that allow limited spending to excluded placements is unchecked. For some reason, Facebook, they just add new things in to just kind of just blindside you. They recently added this. I don't know what it's for, but just make sure it's turned off. Because if you don't, then it's going to go and re-spend on the budgets you just turned off. It makes no sense. But we'll leave it at that. We'll go into next here. And I like to always name my ads ad number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And you're going to notice I'm going to put like 6 or 7, all the way up to 10, 12 different ad creatives into this one campaign. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of naming strategy to make sure that you're naming these ads properly. Okay. Now for the create ad, again, I'm just going to show you guys the actual strategy. I'm not going to talk too much on creatives here, but you can always make creatives with amazing software and AI, which I can touch on here in a second. We're going to make sure we select manual, single image, turn off multi-advertising ads, and then you always want to put the actual product page of your website here. Do not run this to the home page, run it to the product page itself. So for instance, here's a product page. I'm going to make sure I copy that, and then I'll just paste that directly right in there. Okay, now we're going to keep going down and we're going to get to this ad creative side where it's going to prompt us to make sure we actually select an image. Now, if you don't have good ad creatives, emphasis on good. A lot of you guys that I see all the time who ask me and, apply to work with me, you guys just simply don't have good ad creatives. Okay, which is a huge problem. If that may be you, or if you even have a hint at it, or if you just want some better ways to make some amazing, creatives, I would recommend using a site like Dokimi. Okay, this is specifically for clothing brands. Okay, and it's an AI, and it does pretty much everything. I mean, it helps you not only make and create, different designs, but it also helps you create amazing. This is AI. By the way, this is AI. It doesn't look like it. I know it's crazy. Helps you create amazing creatives that you can use to just instantly do photo shoots with the touch of a button. Fraction of the cost, not even a penny and be able to actually get amazing quality creatives. But it doesn't just stop there. It also has an amazing video section where you can create videos that look highly realistic. You can also do UGC content. There's just so much stuff in here. So check this out, link in the description. It's Dokimi. I would recommend using this. If you don't have a good ad creative, your marketing is not going to perform. It doesn't matter how good the strategy is. Really, with the Andromeda update, you want to make sure you have amazing creatives. And a good way to get quick, fast, amazing, top professional creatives is using a site like Dokimi there. So I'm just going to upload a random image here. I'm just going to select this image right here. I don't even know if it's the same product. We'll leave everything untouched there. Leave everything untouched here as well. For the primary text, I would always name it the name of your product. So for instance, the name of this one is Broken Chains. So I would call it Broken Chains is out now. And then I would put some sort of emoji behind it that kind of matched whatever the vibe of your clothing brand is. And then I would say, limited time only. And you can say something along the lines of that. I haven't seen that the creative is just so, important where it's just going to drastically, move your ads to being successful versus failure just on the, copy itself. But it is good enough that you want to make it something that is good and simple and punchy. So this is that really good, simple, punchy thing that has worked for me. And for the headline here, I'm just going to put this same headline text here that I put for the Broken Chains and just leave out the limited time. For the description, I never put a description most cases. And I want to make sure I always use shop now. Again, these are ads for clothing brands. This may be a little bit different if you're used to running ads for makeup or all that stuff, etc. We specialize in clothing and clothing only, so you're doing the best things. I always love to leave on visual touch-ups, especially for clothing brands, because 9 times out of 10, you may be able to have like a 1:1, ratio image, or maybe like a 9:16, and it may not fit the ratio. And this just goes in and kind of fixes that up on Facebook side. Really good. A good thing with Dokimi though, like I was mentioning earlier, you're able to go in there and change those actual ratios. So it kind of matches whatever ratio you're going for. So you make sure you fit all those ratios. If you don't want to do that, just make sure you turn on visual touch-ups here. And we're going to breeze through this, and everything else should be pretty much the same. Make sure your enhancements are turned off outside of that, and everything else should look exactly like it's set up on my screen here, and you should be good to go. Now, here's where the strategy part comes in. We want to make sure we duplicate this, and we're going to do that exact same thing that I just did there 7 different times at least with 7 different creatives, and this can go all the way up to 12. So I would go here and I would go and I would just change out the actual image. I wouldn't change anything else. I would just go here. I would click on edit media, and then I would go in and I would select a different image of the exact same product. So I'm still using the Broken Chains shirt, right? So I'm going to select maybe a different version of whatever the shirt is. The idea is you don't want to select multiple products in the same campaign. It's the exact same product, but you want to do a different background, maybe a different model wearing it, or different shot. You want to do that 7 different times. I go up here, and this is where I would name it ad number 2, so I can separate and make sure I know when I look at this that the ad names are named differently because they're different ads. And again, if you don't have 7 different creatives and you're freaking out, good thing, Dokimi, gonna talk about it again. You can go here and you can just change up the scenes. It has tons of different scenes where you can just instantly drop in a creative and say, hey, keep the creative the same, but change up the scene. Or you can go to the actual product itself and say, hey, this one's on concrete. I want this one on turf or hardwood or sand. Dude, it's literally so easy. If you're not using AI and using a site like Dokimi, you're just behind. Your competitor is beating you. Like I said, it's not the one drastic big thing. It's having amazing advantages such as Dokimi that gets you 1% better, and launching your ads at 12 p.m. that gets you 1% better, and making your website a little bit better, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video, that gets you, 1% better, and you do that 10, 15, 20 different times, all of a sudden you're way better than your competition and you're just winning. And that's how it kind of goes there. So do this 7 different times minimum, and that's the strategy, and you have your marketing dialed. Now, I just want to talk a little bit very briefly on kind of the metrics that you're going to be looking for. So we talked about how to set it up. Now, when you launch these, you want to make sure that your CTR stays around 3%. So let's talk about columns here before I go too deep into this. So if you don't have your columns properly set up, okay, then it's going to look a mess for you. Okay, so make sure you go to columns here. You can go to customize columns, and it's going to bring you to customize columns, and make sure you have CTR in there, add to cart in there as well. And then you want to make sure you have all the other ones in here that you see on my screen. So just go in there and search and type these out one by one. You can pause your screen to make sure you have each of these columns. So CTR, add to cart, purchase conversion value, purchase ROAS, purchases, frequency, CPM, cost per purchase. Make sure you have each of these. Pause your screen now, search them up, and add them all in there. After you're done with that, you can name it right here in the bottom left, and then go ahead and save it. Now, when you're reading these campaigns, you want to make sure that when you're launching this, that the CTR is staying above a 3%. Okay, that's the first thing. You want to make sure it's saving and staying above a 3%. So we see here, this is for today. I never make decisions on ads with just one day. So you always make decisions on at least a 7-day or 14-day window. So you would change that to 7 or 14 days here. And if this slips below 3% and it's unprofitable, I'm just going to go ahead and turn that ad off. And you can also easily make the decisions on the ad side here rather than just a campaign, or you can do it on a campaign level as well. Okay. When it spends its first $20 to $30 in ad spend, so the amount spent right here that we see on here is over $20. I want to make sure that I have at least one add to cart. So you can see here, I have at least one add to cart, and it has been $20 in spend. Now, if the CTR is low, but it has the add to cart that I'm looking for, this one's always going to take priority, and I'm going to go with this. Okay, so add to cart is just a little bit more important than CTR. Doesn't mean CTR is not important, but add to cart's always a little bit more important. So if add to cart, you're getting add to carts, that's gonna take priority, and I'm gonna leave it going and let it keep spending. If I don't have those add to carts, I'm gonna turn it off. Now, once the ad spend gets to $30 to $40, I need to make sure I have a profitable purchase no matter what. So you see here, all three of these campaigns here have at least one purchase, so it's good. I'm gonna leave them all on, right? And we'll just let them keep spending as long as the ROAS here stays profitable, depending on whatever your break-even ROAS is. Now, if all this is sounding like hieroglyphics and I'm not making sense, you probably need someone to walk you through and break down Facebook ads for you. I'm not gonna lie, it is a full-time job, and just understanding these metrics isn't gonna get you there. Like, this is just the basic campaign structure. It is genuinely like learning a brand new skill or trying to go out there and learn calculus. You're not gonna learn calculus on a YouTube video. You probably need hours in one-on-one coaching and someone to get you and walk you through, which is why guys like me are still in business, even though I'm here breaking down everything and being as transparent as possible on a YouTube video for free. I still get business because this stuff is like freaking difficult. You're not going to get it on a YouTube video. You do genuinely need someone to walk you through this, and you're going to want to, because the money you pay someone like me to help you walk through it is going to make you back that, 10 times over, and you're going to save money, because if you don't, you're spending your hard-earned dollars on ad spend here. And if this just keeps on spending, dude, I see crazy stories. People will spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 because they want to do it themselves, and they're just wasting that money because they're not getting sales. So don't be the stubborn one. If you have the resources, go look for someone. It doesn't even have to be me, right? Go look for someone, have some help. But if you're kind of getting it, I just want to make sure you're having at least the bare minimums, and I'm breaking it down as simple as possible so you can, in case you're in the financial pinch, or you want to do it yourself, and I respect that too. You have everything you need to make sure that is there. Okay. Now, again, $30, $40 in spend, make sure you have at least one profitable purchase. Now, once you get that first profitable purchase, you're going to let that keep on spending no matter what. And I like to increase my ad budgets by 20% daily until the ROAS starts to slip a little bit. And then I back it down one notch. So I'll drop it down 20%, and then I'll leave it there. So I'm spending the most money I can and making as much profit as I possibly can. Again, keeping that ROAS as high as possible while spending as much money as humanly possible. And that's how you make sure that your marketing, you're actually getting customers to buy and, convert. Okay. A good thing about this strategy, it's highly talking about the Andromeda update, and it's highly tailored towards that Andromeda update with the 7 different creatives that you're putting in a campaign and leaving it as broad as possible. You're leveraging the new AI that Facebook has launched out there to make sure that you're actually targeting it from the right customers and using all the new software that Facebook has implemented with this Andromeda update to make sure you're using it and taking advantage of it. Now, the second thing that you're going to need is making sure that you have an actual solid product. It doesn't matter how good your marketing is. Like, this whole campaign wouldn't matter if you're running a product that is garbage and it isn't worth it. So you always want to make sure that you're actually selling a good product and that you're actually giving your marketing a chance to be profitable. With good marketing, you can just about sell anything, but selling something profitable at scale really takes a good product and a good, thing to market. They go both hand in hand and they coexist together. So let's talk about product design. All right, now I'm going to hop over to my iPad here and I'm going to show you guys how to actually make amazing designs that actually convert. All right. So first things first, you have to understand you don't just need quality, you need quantity and quality. You need about 10 to 15 mockups. Okay, when you run that traffic ad test that we will talk about, if you comment the word traffic, I'll do a full, ad strategy. We specifically go through one process where we go through and run a lot of traffic ads to all of these designs and basically just try to figure out which product is working the best. Now, if you don't do a traffic ad test, you still need a lot of different variations because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, pretty much, right? If you have more designs, not only do you get better because you're creating more and more and more, but you have more things to test, which means you have a better chance of getting that one golden goose product that gets you to 10K a month in the first place. All right, now to do that, you guys already know, I would use a site called Dokimi. Again, use it. It's AI, it's powerful. It's literally an all-in-one. So I'm gonna go back on my computer just to show you that Dokimi is just so easy to make. So let's imagine that I'm gonna do a streetwear Christian clothing brand, Y2K hoodie that stands out and is fashionable. So I send that. Good thing is it's gonna go back and chat back and forth with me. So it'll literally have a conversation and make me ask it better questions so it can get a design that'll actually be good. Unlike using like ChatGPT, if I were to just send this, it's gonna go ahead and create the design without that iteration process that you would need with clothing. And that's why this one's just so good for specifically clothing, because it knows what it needs to ask to make better clothing. So it says here, before I lock that concept in, what's the brand name? What are words and phrases you want in the piece? Slogan, scripture, reference, all that stuff. Cool, right? Go in, give it more information to make it even better. I'm just gonna create some super generic thing and I'm gonna swap over and say create. I'm not looking for amazing things. I just wanna speed run and show you how it works. So boom, you can see here, it made me this Y2K hoodie right here that is pretty cool. If you like it, then it's cool. If you don't, then I just made it in literally 20 seconds, right? Idea is you can go back and add a lot of cool things and it makes amazing designs. The really cool part about this is I can then go and use its validate tool, which is honestly the most proprietary thing about the software here. If I click on validate, it's just gonna let me know based on, it's thousands of, I don't even have me explain it to you. I don't know how it works, if I'm being honest. But apparently it has thousands of different pieces that it's seen work from different clothing brands that have been successful. And it's using all that information to see against your piece, how likely is it to actually sell and be good. And it's gonna give you recommendations to do and say, hey, this needs to change about the piece and this is its grade. So let's look at what it gave us. It gave us a 62 out of 100. Talks about the pros, talks about the cons. Hey, it's just a printed hoodie underneath graphics, nothing structurally different. It's niche, religious limits kind of limit the people who will actually buy it, which is true. If they're not religious or if they don't want to support their religion or if they're a different religion, then they won't buy this hoodie, which significantly limits the amount of people I can sell this to. The star-crossed scatter elements feel like a filter at small sizes. It's true, I didn't love the hoodie myself, but it also talks about all the good things. And the cool part is it gives me a recommendation, which I can redesign, send it back to the studio, and it'll go in and automatically work on those recommendations and keep making me a better piece. So it should be a literal cakewalk using a site like Dokimi to make 10 to 15 mock-ups and easily be able to breeze through a bunch of different designs and iteration processes. You want to make sure when you're using and prompting with a site like Dokimi or Midjourney, ChatGPT, whatever, or just drawing and hand drawing yourself, that's fine too. If you're in the stone ages, I guess, nowadays, 2026, if you're not using AI, it feels like you're just so behind, right? You want to make sure you're using things like value boosters, okay? That's stuff that makes the piece more valuable intrinsically. Things like acid wash, or adding rhinestones, or maybe embroidery, or distressing, patches, custom zippers. These are all streetwear examples, but if you were like a dress or a high fashion brand or an outdoors brand, you may want to add different patches or, different embroidery or different, bells, whistles, whatever it is. Again, the idea is to just make it more than just a regular D2G garment. You don't want to just have a regular black tee like I have with your logo in the corner. It's just not that valuable. Again, adding more of these value boosters, you'll start to notice the pieces right now that your competitors are selling, especially in the streetwear and outdoors and fitness and gym industries and contemporary industries, all have value boosters. So there's a reason why I say make sure you include these. They not only increase what you can charge for your product. If you have a regular t-shirt that has none of these, it may go for $30. If you have all of these, that same piece could probably go for double, triple the same exact price, right? But it makes it more sought after, okay? It just makes it look better, okay? Another good thing that I always like to make sure I tell people to do, just look at what the market's doing, all right? Don't go out there trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to, be Picasso, whatever analogy works there. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go out and look at what's working. If people are selling clothes in your niche and they're doing well, get that inspiration. I guarantee you they got that inspiration from someone else. You're not copying their design. You're getting inspiration off the design and building upon it to make it yours. That's how you do business. And that's where, again, I can break this belief all day, every day, but I'm not going to make this video 4 hours long. But look at TikTok and Instagram Reels. TikTok came out. It was amazing. It was going, up and up and up. Instagram Reels came and copied it. And dude, Instagram Reels probably saved its platform and Reels is doing amazing for them. Now, it's not the exact same thing as TikTok, but they didn't reinvent the wheel. They saw something that was working and made it for themselves. So go out there, do some competitor research. Go on Instagram, look at clothing brands, see what's working, and get some inspiration from people. Don't go out there with super simple designs. Like I said, this blank t-shirt, and you just slap on a logo. Don't do that because simple designs are not going to work as well as a more thought out design that has more value boosters. I guarantee you can go out and put these kind of shirts up against things that look like this. And again, it doesn't matter if you're streetwear. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian brand or a fitness brand or an outdoors brand. It literally doesn't matter. You get the gist of it. This is just a streetwear example because it's the easiest way to be able to show this, right? Because obviously it's very, 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 very in your face. But go in and find your value boosters for your niche. And I guarantee any regular print D2G shirt or hoodie is going to get outperformed by that same garment with value boosters. And you can just see you probably, if you were to buy one of these two pieces, would land here. And let's say you wouldn't buy either of the pieces. I bet you can at least say, hey, out of these two pieces, which one would you say costs more? And you're always going to say the one on the right. These could both be the exact zip up and you're still going to say the one on the right because it just looks better. So boom, that covers product design. And now you're having an amazing piece that you're marketing well. Okay, you have two solid things that are going to get you ready to go. Now, this third thing I'm going to talk about is still a game changer, and a lot of you guys could guess it. It's the actual website. Now, you could get to a point where you have an amazing piece and you have pretty good marketing, but for some reason, maybe you have a lot of people on your website, you're just not converting. You're getting a lot of visitors and people just aren't converting, right? Let's say this is you. You already have an amazing piece. Your marketing's okay and decent, but for some reason, your website's just not converting. Then this one is going to be for you. We're going to be talking about how to build an actual Shopify website from scratch. And if you don't need to build one from scratch, still listen because this is going to show you the small little things that you're missing out because you didn't build your website the right way, okay? Now, let's just start like you have no website at all. We're going to just walk you through like you have no website at all. The first thing is I would recommend using Shopify. You can use sites like Wix or GoDaddy or, dude, there's so many different ones. I would always use Shopify. In my experience, I've seen it be the cheapest, but less about that. It's just it converts the highest, which ends up making me more money and bringing more money in my pocket, which is why we're here. We're here to make more money in our business. This is why we started. So use the sites that, are number one for a reason. Shopify isn't number one because they are number one. They're number one because they deserve that spot. They have a really amazing platform. And I'm not just saying that because we're sponsored by them, which we are sponsored by them. If you want to go ahead and get a free trial down below, you can click that link in below. And I think it gives you a free trial for $1 for like 3 months, which, dude, don't take my word for it. Go try it for yourself. It's amazing. It's great. When you get on a site like Shopify, the theme that I would recommend that you use is the Horizon theme. Now, cool thing about this theme is it is completely free. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars like other paid themes. You can just go ahead and download this one for completely free. So go to your online store here, scroll down, and this Horizon theme will be right here. This is not just some free version that I'm just throwing on you guys. It's actually the one that I would recommend. And I have built stores for my clients on the Horizon theme that have done 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to 100K a month on the Horizon theme. Like, the theme is badass, no joke. So go ahead and use this theme or whatever theme that you choose, right? And you'll see that you'll immediately be greeted by a website that's pretty much 90% of the way done as far as the homepage and product page go, with a little small iterations that need to be added to make sure it's 100% the way there. And we're going to talk about that in this video here. First, before we get into that, you need an actual product. Your website can't be built without products, so let's build your product. For that, go back out, go into your products, and then click on add a new product here in the top right. Now for this, I'm just going to do this test product that I made very quickly in Dokimi, which I still think looks pretty cool because I made it in 30 seconds. For an example, okay, for the title, you want to make sure you're leveraging SEO for Google. So just make sure you put the name of the shirt. So I called it the Dove t-shirt, which now realizing this is not a t-shirt, this is a hoodie. So let's call that a Dove hoodie. 100% cotton heavyweight hoodie. All right, again, you can see that I just breezed through this and did not even check to see if the garment was right. For the description, you want to put bullet points, okay? Just put bullet points. Talk about things like, the fit of the actual garment. Is it true to size? What is the material made out of? What's the size chart? What's the value boosters? And any other little small benefit of the actual hoodie. That's literally all I put in my descriptions. Now for the media here, again, you can make these product images. All of these product images, by the way, were created in Dokimi. So it's amazing to say that, again, these look super high quality and looks like I took a lot of professional photos in real life. And you can see here, you don't have to take my word for it. All I did is go to the Generate tab, and you can see the images that I literally made here. I just very quickly, with very minimal effort, I made these products here. And you can see here, I said, make me a front version. And just to kind of show, Dokimi's kind of power here, just kind of look at the prompts here. I didn't even put a prompt on this one. I just tagged the hoodie, and it made me this. Look at the one I did for this one. I said, now give me the back of the hoodie, and it did this. Like, I'm not going out and super overly prompting these. Like, imagine if you put some actual prompting and effort, you'd get some amazing results. But make sure you put some high quality product images. It's the same as marketing. If they're going on a website and it looks, kind of scammy or unprofessional, or there's a lot of shadows, it's poorly lit, it's not going to perform. Set your price, set your inventory, set your shipping. Not going to talk about that in this video. Self-explanatory, and you should be able to figure that out as far as whatever product that you're going for. One last thing I will cover on the product page though, go to your search engine optimization. This is SEO, and make sure that this product title on page title, you go in and add a couple of extra things in there that people may be searching up for your particular shirt. So I may type in Christian streetwear, and I might add a few other words, etc. Again, to just kind of get some better SEO. Same thing with the meta description, and same thing with the URL handle. That's going to get you better SEO rankings. So boom, now we're back on the home page here. Now for the home page, and anytime I build a website, you guys are going to know, and you guys are going to get to know me pretty intimately. I do the same thing every single time, and I've seen the same results every single time. And every brand, if you look at it, and I've seen hundreds of high-performing brands pretty much follow this kind of structure. Very simple homepage, very simple product page, but it covers what it needs to cover, and that's what converts. What really lowers conversion rate is when you try too hard, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to try as little as possible. Make sure you have the things that are there to get the best results. First things first, always optimize for mobile. So anytime that you're designing a website, make sure you're designing for mobile and not the website. Because if you're running ads, believe it or not, 90% of your traffic is going to be coming from mobile. So if you optimize for an amazing, computer website, then if it's not good on mobile, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and majority of your audience isn't even looking on that actual device. Okay, so for making a homepage, you can use any site. I keep plugging Dokimi here. You can use any site, but obviously Dokimi can make you a really simple banner. You guys can see here that I made this homepage banner with this test product image here. And this was what I would do for a homepage banner. You just download this. But here's the prompt that I said. It said, make me a banner for a homepage with a few different models sporting this hoodie, and it gave me this. I would go through, and maybe we can do something better. Make me a more simple homepage banner for the @Dove hoodie that is realistic and fits a minimal website design, but make it have 2 or 3 models in it sporting the hoodie. I'm gonna go with this and let's see what it comes up with. I'm gonna change my actual ratio here to landscape. I just think that's gonna fit a little bit better on my page. I want it to be exactly the size of this, so I'm gonna go for a 3x2 and I'm gonna click on generate and let's see what it comes up with. So boom, this right here, I absolutely love it. You guys can see, came up with it very simply. I probably would go back and say remove the text, but I'm not gonna do that for this video because you guys get the gist. We're gonna go ahead and set this as our homepage image. Click on done, and you can see here, that looks amazing. Now, the browse our latest products, I would change this to say shop our best sellers, right? I would change it to say that and then click on shop now or shop all and have that button linked to your bestseller page. And we're also gonna link our best-selling collection right below it. So you should have a banner, and then that should link directly to your best-selling collection. And then from there, just have an email list, and that's it. 3 steps and 3 pieces, as you can see here, literally 3 pieces, and you have a full homepage. All right, again, I know you guys' jaw is probably dropping. It's like, dude, that's literally it. That's literally it. I've seen stores do 100K plus months with a layout like this. It looks highly professional. Now that's all for the homepage, but we're gonna talk about the product page here. Now here's the cool part. If you do the product page right, your customers never see the homepage to begin with because they already bought the product, all right? So the real magic falls on the product page, but as you guys could guess, it's gonna be relatively simple as well. So first, starting off, you wanna make sure that you hide your product descriptions because we're gonna make our own little collapsible rows here. And I personally like to turn off recommended products. You can leave this on. It's kind of more of like a preference thing. I personally just like my websites to look super simple. For the price, I like to make this a little bit bigger than the default Horizon theme. So I may make this like heading 3 or even heading 4. Maybe make it a little bit less bigger than the actual title here itself. So you guys can see it's kind of already coming together. I don't have a logo, but you would add a logo. And you can also add an announcement bar. I'm not going to talk about those little small customizations. I want to make sure you have the meat and potatoes. So specifically for the Horizon theme, we're going to have to go here and add a section. Now the section we're going to do is FAQ. So it's all the way at the bottom. I'm going to select FAQ here. And I'm going to make sure immediately that I go ahead and unselect and hide this header here. Now from here, I'm going to delete 2 of these rows. So I'm left with 3 rows total. All right, now I'm gonna click on the accordion here, the main accordion, and I'm gonna just change these headings to heading 4, just so they're a little bit bigger. And from here, I'm going to name each of these headings like so. We're gonna have it description, shipping, and returns. And I'll make this explanation pretty quick. The reason why, when you're building a product page, and I've built product pages for everything, the only reason you build a product page and have a product page is to solve objections. If they're looking at more things on your product, it's because they're not ready to buy yet. If they were ready to buy, they would just click on your ad and immediately go to the buy button and never really look at your product page. But if they're looking around and exploring, it's because they have questions. Now for clothing, there's really only 3 questions that you can have. You're not selling like a supplement where they have questions like, is this good for me? Or is it good for my body? Or maybe like an electric item where they're like, hey, how long does it last? And what's the battery life like? It's clothes, dude. You know, they're just like, hey, do I like it? Cool. Other than that, they have 3 other questions that stop them from buying. That's shipping. What is the shipping like? How fast will I get it? What are the returns like? If I don't like it or it doesn't fit, how do I give it back to you? And how do I get my money back and or get an exchange? And the description. So this is like bullet points talking about maybe the fabric details, the fit of it, what value boosters were included, what it was made out of, small things like that, and bullet point fits. We're going to talk about and build this out. So the first one here I'm going to change this to be named description. All right. And then for the drop down, again, you go through and you want to put in, so let me actually open this up. You want to go in and put in the actual bullet points of your actual product here. Now you can literally just copy the actual product description that you have here, right? And you can put that in the description here. So I like to have my description collapsible myself. I feel personally it just looks better. And for the clients who don't want to see it, they can see it there. So we go here, and you can see our description automatically populates there. Now we're going to do shipping, and for the actual description, you can pause the video and copy this if you don't have a template here. But the idea is you want to make sure that you're not only talking about your shipping times and state your processing times, but you also want to make sure you include your free shipping threshold. This is going to increase your average order value, making customers spend more so they know what they have to spend to get free shipping. I would always incentivize free shipping. Don't give out free shipping ever for free, but make them earn it. So whether that's 75 bucks or 100 bucks, make them earn that free shipping. And you can use this template here. It's perfect. And they can have, if they have any questions on shipping, I'll always leave my email here at the very bottom. Now for the return section, we're going to do something equally as simple. They're going to click on the return section and they can see where exactly returns look like. So they can contact this email for exchanges and returns. And then I personally would link your return and refund policy right here below. That goes in more detail exactly what that looks like. So whether you're giving out, 30-day money back guarantee, whether there's no return policy at all, I still would have a shipping here, or whatever that looks like for you, I would just link that return policy page here instead of putting it on the actual product page itself. If you do put it on the product page itself, make it very short and then still run them to that page. So people that are really, looking for it, they have to go in and click and go and find it rather than, you turning customers off from actually buying your products if they see it has no returns. Because someone might just click on this, returns section just because it's here, right? They may not even have a question on it. They just want to see if you do have returns. And when they see this page, they may be like, I don't want to go through and read that. I'm just going to go buy the product. I mean, ask yourself genuinely, how many times do you read the terms of service before you download an app? You never really do, right? So it's kind of like we're recreating the same thing. We want to let them know we have returns, but you got to go through and read this page to find out specifically how we do it. Most people won't do that. They'll just settle for the yes answer and say, cool, they have refund. They have returns and refunds. That's what I wanted. I'm buying the product. And you get them to buy pretty quick and fast and get them to convert. When you get those impulse buys, that's how you get profit and get sales. And then from there, I always love linking out this email footer. It's already here for the Horizon theme. You can customize this to make it yours, but you want to build those SMS and email lists here. Now, I'm not just going to stop there. I'm also going to cover some apps that you should download. So I would download an app called Fast Bundle. This is really good for building out your add to cart and increasing your average order value. So if you want to be like Gymshark and have like what the big brands, like we're talking about what the brands that are doing $300 million a year are doing, $30 million a year are doing, right? When you go on add to cart and you add a product to their cart here, they let you know, that you have, first of all, they talk about that free shipping threshold. So, right, again, the same thing that big brands are doing, I'm showing you guys. But not only that, they have this cool little graphic bar that kind of lets you know and kind of shows you visually. And then it has the actual items that are in your cart. And then it has more upsells that you can go through, scroll through, so you can add more items quickly there without having to go and explore the whole website. You can just quickly add it and get that, free shipping right where it needs to be. Your customers like, boom, now I got free shipping. Now I'm going to buy. Boom, now you just made an extra 16 bucks because you had an app like Fast Bundle. I'm not sponsored by those guys. I just like the app. And then make sure you download Klaviyo for emails and abandoned carts. Again, you want to make sure that you're leveraging these emails that you're collecting and you're running those email and SMS campaigns. If you want a little bit more additional information, that's an entire hour video in itself. Again, apply for our one-on-one mentorship where we help you guys scale out to those 10K plus months. We can help you set up some abandoned cart email flows, SMS flows to really retarget and get those customers going. But if you're just starting out, just make sure you have those in and they're in place so you're at least leveraging it to some degree. And boom, wow, this video was a doozy. Right? I don't even say the word doozy, but I'm kind of tired. It was a long video. I just gave you guys $10,000 worth of free game to how to make 10K a month with your clothing brand if you're starting out from scratch. It covers and shows you how to fix every single problem you have in your business and make sure that you build a brand that can do 10K a month along the way. So if you want more help, if you want to work with me one-on-one, dude, go check out more of my YouTube videos or just apply for our one-on-one mentorship link down in the description. Other than that, that was just free game. That was free sauce. I'm not trying to sell you anything else. You guys go run and implement this into your clothing brand and just let me know that you guys are succeeding, and that'll make me happy. Right? I want to see you guys win and see you guys thrive. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll personally respond back to them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.